Saturday Showdown. KT Rolster versus B&K
So actually, if you include all of them, it's 1 million. Just one of them, 4,304. See, production, always on it. They have the answer to everything.
She actually arrived at LoL Park at the start of the season and has just been riding the whole time, taking breaks for the hand strain, and has finally gotten all 1 million done.
Yeah. She turned up last week, actually, as it turns out.
Oh, that's a crazy pace.
Yeah. As okay, we do have the Varus and the Rumble taken away. Karma, Bard, Orianna, and Jarvan would be the rest of the bans, and already we have half. And let's see whether it is just going to be the same selection of bans this time around and what the first pick is going to be. Because last time around, obviously Nongshim, they had first pick. They picked the Nocturne. I wasn't super enthralled by that one as far as a first pick is concerned, but their draft in the end actually ended up functioning very effectively.
Yep.
And now they will have, second pick,
yeah,
and Gen.G on the blue side.
This time they have second pick. I feel like something I would personally want to prioritize heavily is a pick that Diablo can pop off on, as they had last game.
Yeah.
Understandably, that seems like a good strategy.
I think you might be onto something there.
There's the potential to go for, like, you know, Yunara, Lulu, something in that vein. We've often seen teams with a second pick can pick up a bot lane in that phase 2 and feel really comfortable about it. Karma is presumably the ban we expect to see from Nongshim here as the final one, although it seems like they're just eyeing up their options. They go for Jarvan instead, so will Gen.G first pick that Karma? And how is that going to disrupt the bot lane 2v2? Because we've seen Ashe, Seraphine do very well into Ezreal and Nico for the most part, but last game, it was Diablo and the Hens who were running the lane.
Yeah.
And even though that loss streak for Ezreal, Nico into Ashe, Seraphine continues, I think that was despite best efforts from the Nongshim bot duo.
Do you know what I figured out? They locked the Karma, and this was all part of the Nongshim plan. Their bottom lane's going to be Jhin, Caitlyn. Then what do you play? Oh, you just play Sivir. Never mind.
Yeah, I think you're fine with that.
Right.
That being said, something that Lehens is really proficient on is the Nautilus, which you've often seen banned when you are playing Karma. If you get to like the second rotation, you'll take that one away just because it provides so much threat in the lane.
Ooh. So during the Road to EWC that started on Monday and Tuesday, Pantheon has been losing all of the time.
He's been losing quite a bit in the LCK as well, because he started off with a really big hot streak and then kind of just plummeted. So
yeah,
it is going to be that Nautilus though that we know Lehens is very proficient on. So a lot of threat in the bot lane towards that Karma, and it looks like they might just go for the Karma Sivir, which would be a lot of scaling, a lot of safety, a lot of team fighting power, and also the spell shield means that Ruler's ultimately not going to be an easy target. The thing is as well with targeting the Karma, although it's something you can do, Mantra W is so powerful, the amount of healing it gives. If you can survive against the Ignite and the healing reduction, then you can kind of mitigate the play quite well. We get the Skarner as well, which is a pick that's only been played by Canyon so far, and he is 2-0 on it, so...
Last time he played it, he looked phenomenal as well. I think a lot of people have been pretty critical of Canyon and his lack of early game, I guess, initiative taking. He just hasn't really been doing very much, is what I'm trying to say. And the Jhin Karma is what is going to be eventually locked in here. I kind of would have liked the Sivir angle. I do like the run fast bottom lane, but this has proven to be very powerful here in the LCK.
Jhin also can do some fast running. Ultimately, a really strong lane in the Jhin Karma. I feel like Sivir's more survival. This is more bullying, punishing. The Jhin obviously poses a lot of long-range threat. And considering they're looking to be going into the MF, I think you feel a bit better about having opted into the Jhin to make sure that you have that strong 2v2. The Skarner is really impactful here because it's such a brick wall of a front line. It's going to cause a lot of issues for Nongshim when the Pantheon and Nautilus are trying to get towards the enemy backline. If you just have this big Scorpion in the way playing blocker who's augmented by the shields from the Karma, it's going to be tricky.
Yeah. I'm thinking that Nongshim might want to ban away the Anivia again, just given the fact that they do have that Nautilus. I think Pantheon can also have a few issues when it comes to overcommitting into the Glacial Storm and the Wall.
I would agree. I think that will cause some problems if they're to let it go over. I also think that the MF ult value is something that remains to be seen. I feel like that's always something with the MF. In some games, you can obviously have a good lane, but whether she can get a good ult off is another question. So far, the... oh, they're going for Azir.
That is looking a little bit Aziri, isn't it?
Yeah, a little bit telegraphed. I wonder if Gen.G just end up banning it here.
Or maybe they don't care. Maybe they want to play something else.
That's also possible.
We'll just have to see. As one final ban to come through here, could just be the Azir, as they've identified that they banned away 2 Azir counters, but instead it will be the Vayne taken away once again. Exactly the same bans here from Gen.G in the second round as they went for in the first game.
Interesting, this time though, they are the ones who don't have counter pick. Obviously last time they kind of gave away counter pick by making Keen pick on 4. This time though, Kingen has counter pick with a pick on 5. And to nobody's surprise, it's the Azir coming through for Scout. With the Akali LeBlanc bans, it was just very telegraphed. Now for Gen.G, as you said before, the Anivia seems pretty good in this position. Also, we know Chovy picks like Aurora, very, very confident on. Looks like he might just go towards the Gnar in the top lane.
Blind Gnar is a bit of a scary one.
They have trimmed away some of the common counter picks, but we'll see if Kingen is willing to bring something a bit spicier out in order to match this.
Well, there's that Aurelion solo I was talking about earlier on. Obviously, Chovy has been looking for a way to play it for a very long time this year. Might lock it in. Let's just have a look to see whether that is going to be the case. The Scout, you can see grinning just a little bit. A Mel instead. And that is going to be the lock-in. So, fair bit of damage coming out there. I don't, like, from the mid lane, yes, there's some damage. But outside of that, Gen.G have a Jhin and hopes and dreams as far as doing damage in this game.
There's no one that tanky on the side of Nongshim yet, but I feel like the Mel, not the most value from the rebuttal yet. But then they picked TF, so now there is.
Yeah, there you go.
The stun card. TF top coming out again. Going to see that into the Gnar, which is a matchup he can definitely bully. But I think, other than those final picks, the TF is advantageous for Nongshim here, and the Mel is going to be a strong pick for Chovy, but potentially vulnerable. You know, you have the chance to shuffle it in, you have the chance to set up and attack the Mel.
They took a long time to swap, and I thought maybe we'd be getting the Nautilus jungle treatment again, but it's not happening.
But I do think Gen.G, you know, the Jhin Karma bot lane is a big threat. I think the onus is really on Nongshim to get the ball rolling, because if you're playing Pantheon, MF, Nautilus, and you fall behind, you're going to feel really bad about it.
Yeah, they do have a lot of ways to find advantages in this game, though. So I'm looking forward to seeing what they're going to be able to do in order to make that happen. Sponge needs to be so active in this game, and he was already on the bottom side of the map in game number 1, just doing as much as he possibly could. And so we're looking to see whether there's going to be a repeat of that, because this time around, Gen.G will have the shove, and that will be a little bit frightening, you could imagine. I don't know whether this is the same setup to get Diablo into that ultra carry position that he was in game number 1. But the guy has surprised me before. Let's see whether he can do it again as we get onto the Rift here for game number 2. All right, here we are onto the Rift for the second game of this series. In game number 1, Nongshim were winning until they lost. And this game, let's see whether Gen.G can actually get the advantages that their bottom lane is promising, as well as being able to get themselves over a hurdle. I do think that this is going to be less of a late-game slugfest, though, because I feel like both of these teams kind of run out of steam if they don't get ahead. Like Gen.G, because they have not all that much damage later on into the game. And Nongshim, if they do fall behind, then it will just kind of be catastrophic. I'm intrigued as to how it's all going to work. But I think it's going to, like, one team might look silly at the end of this, is what I'm kind of feeling.
Potentially. Oh, that is not fun.
Doesn't feel great.
And Lehens hasn't gotten the Ignite. I really don't like this decision.
He can. Well, he is also going to flash onto Ruler.
Yeah. Trade of Summoners, which I think does favor Gen.G, given that they didn't fit any flashes, and Lehens did.
So there's just one flash on Diablo, and outside of that, Gen.G have both of their flashes.
I'm of the opinion if you're playing Nautilus into Karma in this situation, I'd rather you have a aggressive Keystone for the lane and go Ignite. Because if you engage onto the Karma and the Karma has Mantra and Mantra Ws, it's actually so hard to cut through all that healing. Like the Ignite healing reduction and for the Mantra W and for the heal goes a long way. Because now you're just trading summoners to try and keep health up, but you're just still going to get poked down anyway. That's inevitable, so... Nongshim's bot lane having a tough time already, and I don't think it's going to get any better anytime soon.
No, it's not looking like a whole lot of fun in this game right now. As Chovy also putting the hurt down onto Scout here. Just looks like Scout not quite able to keep up with the range of that Q. But he's Azir. Will still be able to do his job later on, as the anchor is going to taxi Lahen's out. Good sidestep on the Deadly Flourish, but still he is sort of evicted from the lane. But Diablo had already gone home. So Gen.G, I mean, this is what it says on the tin, but it is nice when the tin is reliable.
Yeah, absolutely. Keeps all your biscuits warm.
Yeah, exactly. That's what you need. Is now
Safe.
Scout. Oh my goodness. I always get worried when a Mel throws an auto attack at a low target.
Yeah, Chovy doing pretty well in this lane already against Scout. Going the Airy for a bit of extra harass. Not going the Deathfire Touch, which I think Mel is a champion who you can imagine.
Yeah, I feel like you could
that.
use it. I did check it at the beginning.
That's the thing, is that I feel like with the Ruin, there's champions who can use it, and there's champions who abuse it.
Yeah.
Mel isn't really an abused champion. Oh no.
Oh dear. Keenan is going to get the gold card off, but Keen just hops on over the top. There's the Hyper, and there is first blood. Easy as you like here on the top side of the map.
Yeah, I think Kingen should have flashed the stun from Canyon, or not flashed at all. I think the second he decided to hold his flash until after the stun, you're dead.
Yeah.
And the fact that Keen hopped over him and got behind him meant that even when he did flash, he was still...
And he has no teleport orcs.
Yeah, so look at this situation. If you're going to flash, flash now, but he gets stunned, dragged back a bit, and then Keen bounces on his head, and you're still in auto range even when you flash. I think you either flash early, and that gives you the best odds, or you say, you know, I'm probably dead here regardless, I'm just going to save my summoners. Because now he's in a vulnerable position, and he can be punished again by Gen.G.
Yeah. Man, early game hop also just does so much damage. You just bounce onto their head. Did just look a little bit ridiculous there with what Keen was able to achieve. Scout continuing just to take damage here in this lane post teleports. And Chovy really has been enjoying the Mel recently. You can see that that is still happening here, although he does miss that snare as I say it.
A lot of harass in this lane matchup coming out. Scout definitely not having a fun time here.
Diablo has a almost gold lead though. That's kind of cool. I think there's been a little bit of respite given, especially with Canyon showing on the top side of the map. Does mean that Nongshim will then be able to get a little bit more leniency in the bottom lane. But they do pick up that wave, and so still Diablo with that early back is still a little bit behind.
I mean, that's one thing with the MF, is that your first item has sustain, because you're going to go Bloodthirster. And...
Well, Kingen needs to run towards his jungler now. Might be able to do so. And Canyon is moving up. Keen does have Mega Gnar though, so this is a very scary moment. There is Sponge just getting slammed into the wall twice as Keen throws him back. The flash was very weird from Keen, as there's the heal out from Lahen's. They should be able to take down this Gnar, as he does try and escape, but it doesn't quite work. And now Canyon just wants to throw some rocks around. Duro comes in with the Mantra Inspire and just takes Kingen for a walk. Down he will go. Now Lahen's is trying to escape, but it is another slam, and Canyon wants to be able to take this guy out as well, as the rock gets flashed, and Lahen's just barely survives.
Keen getting a lot of value at the start of that fight. We see members of Nongshim funneling in first, which ends up being to the demise of Keen. But this initial play, the slam into the wall of Sponge just puts the Pantheon on the back foot from the offset. And then we kind of get more members of Nongshim showing up. Lahen's is here. But Sponge is already so low, he goes down. And then Kingen can't really do much other than stand on the outside of the fight. But I love the decision from Duro just to flash and commit, kill him. Don't let the TF get any value. And this was very close to being 3 kills over to Gen.G if not for Lahen's been able to disengage from that last bit of damage.
Yeah, that the last rock would have been the death nail, so Lahen's having to use that flash. Does, of course, have the unsealed spellbook, so isn't punished like other champions would, but still, it is bad news. 1.2k, the advantage here for Gen.G. And remember, in the last game, Nongshim, they were nursing a lead throughout the majority of the game. And this time around, a much better start. Just feels like whenever Canyon gets the Skana, he's just better.
Yeah. Very proactive, making things happen, as we've seen so far this game. I should say one thing, so Diablo going the MF in this situation, what's really nice about it is that it's so easy to farm on the tower because you have that empowered auto.
Yep.
So he didn't really miss any farm when he shoved under before, and your first item is Bloodthirster, so he already has that Ram Scepter, already has a ton of sustain. It's actually not that easy to poke him out anymore, and it feels like, considering the expectation, when you have Karma with how strong Karma's been, Jin Karma as well, the fact that Diablo's keeping up in farm is a really positive for the bot side of Nongshim. Unfortunately, obviously, the top side hasn't been going so hot.
Yeah, when you see Twisted Fate without a gold lead, that is often warning signs. It is still farming quite effectively. It's just that Keen has helped kill him a couple of times here. And Gen.G going to be utilizing that map control in order to take this first dragon of the game. Will be a mountain that goes down first. We'll see what the next one's going to be before we check in on what the soul could be. And it's not going to be a Cloud Soul. That's sad for me, but at least there's at least one Cloud Drake in the game. As Ruler has to flash the anchor. Good flash there, but still has to use it. Will be a little bit more in danger here in this lane, especially if he stays by himself. Does have Duro coming up now, though.
Yeah, good setup on the play there with the slow from Diablo and Lahen's burning the flash, so able to get that summon, and we'll see if they're able to capitalize on it before it's back up and available. Right now, you can see Sponge starting up on the grubs, but Canyon's there to contest him.
Yeah, does have full vision, so it looks like 2 grubs will go over to Nongshim, and he will just forego the third. But Canyon looking to try and lock him down. Will be able to close the gap as now Keen desperate to try and get on in there. There's the Impale, but I don't think the follow-up's going to be there because Keen can't quite make his way in. It has to be Canyon by himself as the Aegis comes on through, and Canyon is so tanky. He just walks him down, and now Keen feels like he has the gusto, gets the flash out in trade for the ulti, and Canyon is not done yet. Still going to force the Destiny and the Gate out from Kingen. And Nongshim, it doesn't feel the same as game number 1, Orcs.
No, it does not. Kingen having to burn both summoners there to get away from the play. And Canyon just charges Sponge down, just fights him 1v1. He's gone for this Protoplasm Harness as his first item, so has a great early spike. That also just means in terms of a duel, there was never really any chance of Canyon losing this. Gets so much damage down to Sponge in the offset. Kingen moves over to help. And although it looks like Canyon starts to get low, the healing starts to come out. And so he's not really under threat. Kingen gets chunked out here by Keen and has to just dip from the situation. It's a good play, though, from him to disengage, but it doesn't really salvage the fact that top side skirmish just heavily went in Gen.G's favor.
Yeah. It's not going to influence the gold lead too much as we've got another engage here towards this bottom side. Bullet time, just the entire thing on top of Ruler. Duro thankfully going to be there with a shield in order to try and keep him safe, and the barrier is helping out. But now Ruler might just need to vacate this lane as Diablo, man, he has got something to prove here today.
That he does. Good setup there from Lahen's, punishing Ruler's lack of flash, and as you said, even though he survives, still zoned out and giving an advantage now in gold to Diablo in a lane where felt like Jin Karma should really have that pressure.
Yeah, when Lahen's keeps going for these plays, though, it can be for better or for worse, but it's looking for better at the moment. As now Scout, we're going to make his way in on top of Chovy, gets the Emperor's Divide as Chovy wants to be able to get this kill back. The rebuttal doesn't quite work, and there is no ulti to be seen. And so they grab the 2v1, and Chovy will go down.
So this is one of my concerns with the Mel in this situation, is obviously Chovy's been doing really well in lane, but your rebuttal just doesn't have a ton of value apart from against the TF, which...
Who wasn't even picked at the time that he locked it in.
Yeah. And into a Pantheon Azir, I feel like the gank setup is so easy. And speaking of gank setup, we might end up seeing...
Yeah, I've seen this one before. There's the gold card, try and interrupt Canyon. Let's see how much that does, as it does nothing at all. He still gets impaled, still gets hopped on, and that is going to be the Skana, grabbing his 3rd kill of the game. 100% kill contribution, 5 kills in 11 minutes. Who is this Canyon?
We'll see a replay of that mid play. I mean, it's just Pantheon Azir as an immobile mage. Nightmare fuel. realistically. And this top lane, there's a certain pool of champions who can go over walls who are just so annoying to deal with when they're ganking you. Skarner, Kane, Rek'Sai, Zac. Just these champions who can just easily traverse this terrain and get a great angle on you. That it's very hard to ward against, especially when you look at the top lane. There's 2 control wards down to just kind of suffocate King in this scenario.
Ooh, there's a hook in from Lehends. The bullet time comes down, and Ruler is just dead this time. Nongshim are just dominating this bottom lane this time around. Gen.G having a real struggle down there.
And Ruler's flash is about to come up, so the timing was impeccable from Lehends to find that punish before Ruler had that summoner available. Picks him off, sets up Diablo. Nongshim keeping this game close, despite the mishaps in the top lane.
Yeah. And Kingin, you know, he'll still be able to make a whole bunch of money and have gold cards and stuff in the later stages of the game. So no harm, no foul. This time around, though, the compositions I don't feel are as clean, right? When you've got a ranged top laner, you do lack that front line. Although I guess Lehends is playing Nautilus this game, so maybe he's going to be at least a little bit of a front line, but he's still going to die very fast.
Yeah, he's going to be very squishy. Definitely feels like Gen.G have the more robust front line, especially as they have shields to kind of back them up as well. Gives them a lot of effective HP.
Yep.
You see Nongshim trying to get control of this bot side river right now.
They will start off the dragon, but I don't know whether Sponge really wants to stay on it. He's going to start hitting some buttons, and Diablo's made his way down. Bloodthirster in hand, but the rest of Gen.G, they'll show up, and that is a very, very fed Skarner. Like, very, very fed.
He's just so tanky at this point of the game. It's going to be so hard to deal with him.
I don't even know what Protoplasm is. Do you know what I thought it was just, like, part of Raz's name.
It's the stuff from Ghostbusters.
Ah, I didn't know about that. Okay, well, Sponge is taking a fair bit of damage. Canyon sort of is, and now Sponge looks for it, but the flash comes out. The Skarner is going to be able to keep himself alive. Kingin makes it into the backline. The Deadly Flourish comes on down as Ruler getting pressured away, but that is Kingin as well that is going to fall. And now Canyon looking to try and slam Diablo, but he flashes out of the way of the Impale. And Sponge getting behind his outer turret. And Keen just hanging out under turrets this game. As the curtains are being called, the Aegis is going to at least save the Pantheon. But Lehends not going to be so lucky as Gen.G just find a big teamfight win and rocket back to a 2,000 gold lead.
Yeah, Nongshim just don't even really get a look in on the fight. The setup is so easy. They can just move forward gradually as a unit. The Jhin follow-up is there as well. Gen.G accelerating this game to a pretty significant gold lead. And, you know, it's the fact that it's a 1,100 gold lead for top lane despite it being a TF. I just worry, what would the gold lead be
if it wasn't?
Yeah.
Larger.
So they try and jump on Canyon here, but again, he's just so tanky in this situation. Not necessarily the greatest initial target. He does flash out the Emperor's Divide that could have been the end of him, but then Kingin's just super weak, overextended, gets punished. We have Keen charging forward, trying to pick people apart.
Yeah, Keen just kind of murdered Scout and then went by himself to try and kill as many other people as possible. The rest were just chasing Diablo the entire fight. Just feels a little bit worrisome. Was also able to tank up that turret before he leaves. So
Oh.
Yeah, Duro looking to take King in for a walk here, but he's not going to be able to do so again. We see that little blip of Nongshim having an advantage, and then we had that team fight, and it was way worse.
Yeah. So, I mean, I guess because it was ectoplasm in Ghostbusters.
Yeah,
but surely protoplasm is similar.
I thought it was Razzleplasm. That was my favorite plasm.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I mean...
I'm really sad that he kept the Raz and not the plasm.
Yeah.
You know? You look back and you think...
he should have just been called Plasm?
Yeah. I actually thought Le Plazon was my favorite. That's what I often call Raz.
How did he feel about that?
Fine. It's Raz.
Yeah.
He's not that flappable, as we know. As Ruler and Diablo are fighting, but it looks more like Diablo is kind of hitting him and Ruler's saying stop at this point. As now Keen is the target here for Scout. Throwing down these Sand Soldiers, he's pretty scary, but when you get the Hyper Proc, it does really just feel like this Gnar can run forever. Does get Emperor's Divided though, and is now looking to try and escape, but Keen, I think, is just out of there. So Scout does get some revenge, takes down the Gnar finally, but the response is going to be an attempt at this mid lane that does get bullet timed. And then the Rift Herald just comes and destroys the turret anyway, and
Solve it.
Chovy is taking this one.
Yep, so despite the good play on the top side from Nongshim, the rest of the map, you can see Gen.G pushing their advantage, getting that mid-tier 1. Looking bot as well. They're going for the play.
All right, they're looking for Kingin. Kingin is just not allowed to have a good time this game. It's just not a thing, as they will kill Ruler. So at least there's one very sad player on both teams.
Yeah, bounces out.
Yeah,
I think Kingin is a bit sadder.
Yeah.
In his current game state. I personally wouldn't want to be playing Twisted Fate when I'm 0-5-2 and I'm getting ganked constantly. But, you know.
Diablo's at least going to be able to get a turret, and the gold lead has shrunk.
That is something. Feels like Nongshim finding some plays to pull this back. Diablo able just to kind of park himself mid, and with the sustain from the Bloodthirster, not really under too much threat from the side of Gen.G.
All right, well, the way back in is, I guess, the question. It's not this. This is not the way for Kingin to make his way back in. The Mega Blast Cone engage. Oh, Valdez, very proud. This is the way you're supposed to use it.
Using it for good.
Exactly. Lehens with a really nice Hex Flash, though, set up for this kill. Just takes down Ruler.
Just very dead.
Oh, God. Stop doing it to Kingin, man. He just wants to have fun. He had to flash and ghost again.
Yep.
He's using them on cooldown. When does it get fair, Ox? Tell me. Justice for Kingin.
I think his summoners have spent more time on cooldown than off at this point, honestly. The thing is, you may feel bad for him.
Yes.
And you may say, this is a tough situation no one deserves. But he did pick TF top lane, so do we really feel that bad for him?
I guess not.
You know,
like he did last pick it, didn't he? So he did know everything that he was playing into. But maybe he didn't understand the reality of what that means.
Typically, there's a lot of ranged top laners at the moment. You know, your Vaynes,
your Varus.
Yes, where you pick them so you have fun and the opponent has no fun. I'd go as far as to say negative fun. And so I think in a situation like this, where they punish you for picking a TF top, it feels a bit like Karma, which is also a champion Gen.G are playing.
Yeah, that did not escape me. It's a bit on the nose, but it does kind of feel fitting. As Gen.G are going to use said Karma to help them push up this wave. Canyon throwing rocks around as Scout moving down towards this dragon. Back-to-back Chemtech Souls, by the way, Ox. Just to remind you.
Yeah, just a new patch is on my mind. It's hard to focus.
It is pretty distracting, and honestly, it's been up for 5 minutes. Oh, the icon's been there for 5 minutes, and I didn't notice until now. So maybe I'm part of the problem as well. As Lehens just Mega Blast coning around, looking for a little bit of an angle here as he gets slammed into the wall, but does immediately get cleansed. Canyon now in a little bit of trouble, but he just soaks the entire bullet time, misses the impale, looks completely unbothered. As there's the Emperor's Divide just to play defense against Keen, who's about to go Mega, and Scout, your base is the other way, my guy.
Yeah,
and he's just gonna die. Yeah,
just a little bit. I think really that fight managed to show just how unbelievably tanky Canyon is right now.
Yeah,
the fact he just stood in the bullet time, and just shook it off. Worrying.
Yeah, now he's just back to farming. Health bar going up.
It's like, who's gonna actually kill him?
Well, the 0 in the middle of his scoreline says no one.
Here's the thing, right? So, when he gets to 5% HP or less, then Diablo with his collector,
oh, God. Why did you make me look at it? As we're not going to look at whatever's happening in the mid lane because we want to see Kingin die again. That's what everyone wanted to see, right? The boomerang is going to miss, though, so Kingin this time will be spared. And no one died in the mid lane either, as Duro just running around as the Karma, having a hell of a time. Throwing buttons, things like this, as Ruler does at least have a wave to farm. Let's have a look at this again.
Yeah, just look how much damage Canyon ends up soaking. They end up focusing him, Nordosul, MF ult, and he just lives. The Impale does not get the value he'd hoped for, but
the rebutted bullet time was pretty funny as well.
Yeah. Scout very dead. on the end of that play. And now Chovy looking to be in a bit of trouble as well.
I've seen this play before. The scout is going to show up. That is a decent rebuttal, and Chovy does make it to his inner turret. The Sand Soldiers aren't quite there, and man, Karma is one heck of a drug. Just comes up, gives him a good old shield, and out he goes. Nongshim, that was 3 versus 1, and Chovy just walked it off.
That felt like it should have been a Sheerfire thing. That kill, Rocket Belt coming in pretty big for Chovy there, the flash as well, able to disengage from the situation and kite out all these members of Nongshim who were hunting him there and ultimately were unsuccessful.
Man, impressive movement there from Chovy, to say the least. And Gen.G continue on the warpath. 2,000 gold is their advantage. The Baron spawned a couple of minutes ago, and they didn't manage to get the 3rd dragon. That was locked down by Nongshim, but I don't know whether Gen.G are exactly in a big rush to grab themselves a Chemtech Soul.
Canyon gets a Chemtech Soul.
That's true, actually, and they do have Duro. And so, like, even Duro will be impossible to kill. Imagine Mantra W at below 50% with a Chemtech Soul.
That's pretty disgusting.
That doesn't seem very killable. But then, yeah, Canyon will continue to be immortal. If you go from immortal to more immortal, I just don't think that that really is much, though. So maybe it's the worst for Canyon, because he's just never going to die anyway. Could be a thing. We'll have to go and figure that one out for sure. As Kingen does put together some Hex Optics.
He's getting some items.
Indeed.
Oh no.
Lehens is getting dead. CC'd for approximately a year.
Well, difficult when you're the one setting up the vision, but Gen.G looking for more.
Canyon versus 4 people. There's the curtain call though, and Scout. Sponge just going to get pushed into the wall and taken down. Diablo not able to quite find a good enough bullet time angle to do A damage to Canyon. And they're just going to wander back towards the Baron. They've taken down the support and the jungler. This is feeling like some regular Gen.G. As Canyon makes it to 5,000 assists.
And what a game
Second
to do
in the jungle, as obviously Peanut ahead of him. Guy was playing for absolutely forever. 600 to go to catch up to him.
Oh, Nongshim are looking here. Canyon is pretty low.
Yep, they have the vision as well from the Destiny. As Lehens gets on in there. And the Baron is going to go down very low, but I don't know whether they're going to be able to do anything about stopping the smite, because it's Canyon, he's immortal, and Sponge is dead.
Yeah, Lehens just kind of led the charge there. But isn't that tanky? And the rest of the team were kind of like, okay, well, we can't make it in. We can't contest the Baron.
Oh, Deadly Flourish is going to connect here, as Chovy could be in a bit of trouble. There's the Emperor's Divide. It's going to do nothing to the rebuttal. However, Sponge just lands on top of him, and that will be the end of the Mel. Gen.G lose one of the Barons, as now Canyon going to try and slide his way over, but I just don't think you necessarily need to.
So Chovy has TP, but he's not going to be up for a while after this dragon spawns. I think Gen.G might just end up giving it up. It's not the highest priority soul, but it does feel like they need to really get value out of this Baron power play as a result. Keen is pushing into this top lane already and looking to pick up plates.
Yep, some overgrowth going to get eaten there as well, so should be able to make pretty short work of this. Kingen is moving up. I don't think he's going to get there in time. He has finished a couple of items here, some Hex Optics and some Kraken Slayer, but yeah, still a 0-5 Twisted Fate with a 2,000 gold deficit. He may have stacked the deck, but perhaps when he was stacking the deck, he then picked up all the crap cards that he took out.
He grabbed the wrong...
Instead. Yeah, that might have been what happened. You know, honest mistake, you know? If you had to have a chat with Gambit about it, I'm sure that he would say, you know, sometimes you just have one of those days. Just grab the wrong deck.
I wouldn't know, but I'm sure it happens.
Yeah. Maybe we could, like, send a message to Channing Tatum about it or something. It was all right. Diablo,
hopefully
a
voice message, so he responds with a voice message.
That would be really good. Diablo is going to get stunned up, though, and they're just looking to take him down. Keen has to flash, though, as he stands his ground. Teleport comes in. Emperor's Divide immediately sends Chovy back, but the Misfortune is also dead, and Chovy's able to mitigate so much of it. In goes the 0 health Gnar, and looks to wipe them out. The max range wallop to destroy the Azir, and Gen.G just way too far ahead. They'll march down the mid lane and look to take down Nongshim 2-0.
Such a crazy fight. Chovy TPing into the middle of Nongshim, unable to make the play work with the stasis coming through. And then Keen, on slivers of HP, manages to find the CC in Meganar to make it happen.
Well, Kingen is back. I'm really glad that we got the very dramatic little pan over as the Twisted Fate does come in. I might have got ahead of ourselves, or myself, as it's not the end of the game, but it did kind of feel like it.
So in this situation, King goes pretty aggressive and ends up getting focused down, has to flash away. Starks to save him. But then Chovy goes this crazy TP. Oh.
Speaking of crazy and Keen, they're both top laners. Keen is just going to be able to gnar away both Kingen and Sponge, and out they will go.
Yeah, able to disengage from the situation. Doesn't try and take the 1v2. Chovy is hunting.
Behind enemy lines. Diablo is going to be able to avoid the snare, but Canyon flashes out of the bushes, and he's just dead.
Yeah. Sponge might be too.
Well, they're going to chase after him. Keen is running so incredibly fast. Also has a Randuin's now. So he's also exceptionally tanky. Not quite Canyon levels, who's finished his Thornmail as well as everything else. And that Rejuve bead, which I'm sure is very important.
That's the difference maker.
It really is. Like, I'd be bragging about a luxury Rejuve bead. As Inhibitor turret going to go down on the top side of the map. And Gen.G will very easily deal with this inhibitor, not the hill that Nongshim want to die on, but they may die on a hill not of their choosing if they wait too much longer. As Kingen running away, Sponge wishing he could do the same thing as he gets CC'd. We'll be able to throw down the Aegis, but oh my goodness! This is a demolition as now, yeah, that is a extremely dead Lehens.
Yes, brother.
No, Lehens. Brother was his teammate who was a mid laner at the time.
Ah, I see.
Yeah, currently a coach.
Thank you for the clarification.
You're welcome. That's what I'm here for.
Yeah, you're such a sponge for this information. Feels like you've scouted out all the players in the leagues.
Aha! You are doing a diabolical amount of punning.
Yeah, Chovy was hunting here, just went super aggressive and found the enemy to carry, and Diablo definitely did not expect to wander into a Mel in that position, especially given that Mel, like we've said, Chovy kind of feels a little bit vulnerable in this game, but with this lead, with the fact he has Rocket Belt and Zhonya's no longer really the case.
Yeah.
8,000 gold lead. Pretty substantial.
It certainly is. Yeah, they are very, very far ahead. It is just going to be one of those. Maybe Nongshim can channel some Gen.G from last game, because it looked like Gen.G were definitely on the ropes and weren't with very much of a chance, but then they won. So maybe that's what Nongshim has to do. Be losing, but then win. I mean, if you break it down, that's ultimately all Gen.G did.
Yeah. On the simplest level possible.
Yeah, they transferred from losing to winning.
Why don't more teams do that?
Exactly. I think that's all that we really need to do. And then we're all going to be successful.
The Dragon going to be picked up here by Gen.G, so no contest at all. Obviously,
Soul Point.
Soul Point, yeah, much later than perhaps the Soul could have been with Nongshim getting those two earlier dragons, but Gen.G not really seemingly valuing it super highly. Nongshim playing around this Azir turret.
Yeah, there's a gate into the back line, looking for Keen here. They do manage to stun him up. There's the bullet time right on the edge there with the Gnar, but he moves out of it before the depth charge comes in. And Keen finally does go down. A big burst of damage there towards Scout, but it looks like Gen.G are still hunting for more. Not sure about that, though, as Chovy's dashing in looking for Diablo. He gets taken down halfway, and now the curtains have been called. Chovy walking through the cards. There's the gold card, rebutted back immediately. Chovy able to avoid a fair bit of the CC here as he flashes out of the way of the Emperor's Divide. This guy is skating around the rift right now. Speaking of which, Scout able to swoop his way over that wall. Gen.G, they lose their top laner. Nongshim hold on to everyone, but it does feel like if I was Nongshim, I'd be a little bit frightened. It's nice work getting to 6,000 assists there, Lehens.
It's 58 behind Faker, so definitely a chance he catches up with that, maybe even this season.
Yep, Kerry also 48 behind him, so it's a bit of a race there on the top side of the scoreboard.
Okay,
bottom side,
Sponge has
very
ult.
far away.
You can just ult in if he really wants to, but you would die.
Well, Diablo is going for a little bit of a wander here. Doesn't have a whole lot of mana or an R button. So it is a tough ask.
Is he going to send it? Oh, wait, they're going both in on the Mega Cone?
Well, in they go. Sponge is in the back of the pit. There's the steal away as the Impale is going to seal his fate. There is Lehens going down as well as Keen. Once again, looking to go 1v2 versus the carries of Nongshim. And he is actually doing pretty well, as we can see. So a 2 for Baron. And with a base open, does make it a little bit difficult. However, with 3 Barons here, they will be able to keep all of these minions alive. And so therefore, it's likely that Gen.G are not going to be able to win on this next push. But this inhibitor is going to go down. Could be that this bottom side inhibitor turret is also going to fall, as this next minion wave is pretty close by.
So they have time now, but they have to be a little careful because as soon as Sponge is up, he can just ult straight in and look to collapse on them. That is a dangerous way to ult from Diablo, but doesn't backfire too much.
It's certainly bullet time.
Okay, Gen.G do back away. They respect the Pantheon, that ultimate that can easily get on top of a backline or get behind them. They don't want to mess with that. So the Red Bull Baron power play didn't really amount to a ton in terms of the gold generated, but it did do a lot of damage to the base of Nongshim and allow them to have a lot more control of the map as a result.
Yeah, we're going to have a look at it here, as Kingen did manage to get the gold card down onto Keen.
Yeah, just a nice flank angle, able to CC Keen, and then it's actually Scout getting the last bit of damage on this Azir, so this, yeah, just kind of crazy at work. They just both jump over. Canyon went over as well.
Smite.
Yeah. Canyon went over as well to try and disrupt them, and then realized, wait, they're already in the pit, and had to flash back, but did not get the smite there.
Well, he is still immortal, Orcs. He now has a Spirit Visage and another belt. He's got a lot of keys in his pockets, I guess. He needs a lot of belts. It's all right. He's able to just walk his way out. Will get stunned up for a moment, but I didn't see him really take damage. There's a flank angle for Chovy, looking to get in amongst it as Keen is taking the brunt of the damage. Deadly Flourish onto Lehens. He has to flash his way out in order to get to safety. Keen, no teleport, does still need to go home. That health bar is just looking a little bit too low. Some respite given over to Nongshim here, as it's just been, games just look really difficult to close out, I guess, in this Gen.G versus Nongshim series.
Yeah, I would agree. I feel like definitely not helped by the fact you're playing into the Azir, who has so much wave play and can put those turrets up, but also the Pantheon is just this looming threat consistently that a step too far will result in a Pantheon just appearing behind you. And I feel like they've respected that a good amount so far.
Nongshim will be able to at least get this wave shoved past the river. Deadly Flourish there onto Diablo, doesn't look too perturbed by it. And we do have solo laners in the side lanes here for Gen.G, which is why Nongshim are able to get themselves up here, just tidying up those outside waves. Inhibitor still down in the mid lane, still for another 2.5 minutes or something like that.
Dragon in 20 seconds would be Soul, and that seems to be the focal point, but he was trying to contest his mid-priority.
Yep, Soul point for both teams if Nongshim managed to pick it up. Maximum in, Elemental Drakes. As Chovy put together a pretty cool hat and wants some extra pages in his book, as there's the engage onto Canyon. I'm not sure about that. I just don't think it's a great idea, as he's just bathing in the bullet time. Another rebuttal comes on down, as Lehens probably pretty happy that that dredge line missed, and now Keen looking to follow up. Hyperproc ready there onto Sponge, and there's the boomerang to secure it. Oh! There's the gnaw onto everyone as Keen dives in. It's Chovy to get the follow-up kills as he picks up the double. Scout is drifting around the map, but Chovy goes golden, gets a gigantic shield, and that should just be the game, ladies and gentlemen. Gen.G with a gorgeous team fight.
That ult from Keen, it was just like this sort of stand your ground. Who's going to draw first? Who's going to find the angle? And Keen jumps in and finds a mega ultimate to put an end to the series. Gen.G claim a 2-0 victory over Nongshim.
This one, a lot more set in stone is what it felt like, but did still last a pretty long time here, as Gen.G will secure a 2-0 over Nongshim Red Force.
Game 2, they would just crush you into paste. And that's kind of what we got, the typical Gen.G. You know, the resistance comes in, but they're just able to elevate their play, and we get to see the comms from that big moment.
And yeah, they went for a bit of an engage onto the Immortal Skarner, which is a problematic maneuver. Watch Keen, man. Does he get all 5? I really wanted to yell 5, but I didn't get to fully count it in the moment. But it looked like it. Oh, he hits 4. Still, I'm gonna give that a pass.
He has a Jin on his team, so...
Oh, true. So it's probably the right thing to do.
Yeah, maybe Ruler would have been a bit upset if he got all 5.
Yeah, true.
Wouldn't have been able to shout 4.
That being said, Ruler would very much have liked to kill all 5.
Yeah, I mean, he was probably calling for a pentakill in that situation. Well,
if he plays Jin, do you think he was calling for a quadra-kill instead? You guys can have one.
Knowing
Let's keep it thematic.
No.
Yeah, definitely.
And even though he saw the comms, he wasn't saying it internally. We know he's in a monologue.
Screaming
like,
it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think he's also screaming it in the loading screen getting onto the rift.
Yeah.
I think Ruler's internal monologue is just penta.
I think he turns up every day and he's just like, today's the day.
Can't wait for
Wakes
my
up in the
pentakill,
morning,
baby.
looks in the mirror, points himself and says, you're getting a penta today.
Keen was getting a whole lot of damage in that game, but not the POM. He would have been my vote, probably. But when in doubt, Chovy is normally a pretty good call. And honestly, his Cassiopeia was pretty incredible.
I think it was